Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton.
Ooh, so I've done quite a lot of moaning, on this channel for the past few videos, and partly that's because, you know, I feel stifled and feel like I can't do what I want to do, but also sometimes I just feel, I don't know, I like to make a lot, I like to make a lot of excuses about why I can't go out and take images. Today's video, I'm basically going to try and show that that isn't the case. You know, there's always something to photograph. It's all about how you look at things, your point of view and your perspective. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take my Hasselblad 501cm, which is a film camera, shoots square images, medium format. I'm going to load a roll of Portra 160, which I'm doing now, whilst talking to you, which is not good because, you know, it guarantees that I may well mess up. So we'll get this loaded and we'll venture out. And honestly, I have zero idea of what I'm going to shoot.
So you can see that it is an absolutely glorious day, but if you look out to the horizon, a storm is approaching. And there's also quite a lot of people out and about, which is why I'm doing this voiceover and not talking on location, because I get a bit shy when people are around me. But it's not long before I spot my first composition and my first subject, which is this life ring here, which has been discarded from its case and kind of wrapped and tangled around the railing. It just struck me as something worth photographing. It tells a bit of a story, especially with the approaching storm. So I frame my composition and I drop in a 2-stop soft edge graduated filter because I really want to retain all of the detail in the approaching storm, because I think that is what's going to tell the story and complete the image as a whole. And it wasn't long before my camera got a bit of attention, but I have to say this guy clearly knows his stuff and knows what he's talking about.
It's not a bad shot, is it?
Well, it's the clouds that make it. Thanks.
So now it's just a case of waiting for the beach down below to clear and for the storm to roll in. The light was glorious and all I had to do was press the shutter.
So it seems those clouds that I was just photographing have now hit. Oh my
God. Oh dear. So, wow. Whew. It is pretty bad out there, pretty bad. I thought I'd come in and just do a quick, I don't know, oh gosh, sort my hair out. Quick debrief because I couldn't film in my usual style because, well, you all know that I'm not very good at talking to the camera when there's people around. And so I was surprised at how many people are out, which actually is a really good thing. It means people are getting out and about, which is, I think, fantastic. But it just made it quite difficult to really ponder, because I always feel like, you know, as a photographer, right, you'll know this, as a photographer, I like to be indecisive, walk around, look at things from different angles, you know, go back, go forwards, you know, really think things over. To an outsider, this makes you look like a bit of an oddball. So anyway, I found one subject. I was kind of hoping to find more, but again, it was very busy and I didn't feel like I could really get into it. But yeah, I found that one subject of the life ring that had been kind of taken out of its case and discarded to one side, and then it looked like it had been tied on the railing, and the clouds and the light was phenomenal. It took about an hour before the light started to get good because I spotted the subject and then went back about an hour later after walking all around the place and not seeing much. But those beautiful storm clouds that I photographed behind the life ring, that, you know, those are what I've just hit. So yeah, pretty wet and cold. So I think what I'll do, go out tomorrow morning and see if we can finish off that roll, but I'm quite enjoying this. It feels very spontaneous, which is nice. All right, I'll see you tomorrow morning, I think. Yeah.
Well, what a difference a day makes. Well, yeah, not a day. What a difference about a week makes. The weather's like, since I was last here getting battered by the weather, it's just been like that every single day. So I haven't been coming out. It's just been brutal. But this morning, things are finally on the change, which is great. When I'm on a beach, this is what I look for. Rocks that form pools around themselves on a nice clean bit of beach. This is the dream right here. Although it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work, but when I'm on a big beach, this is what I look for. Just trying to compose it, and you know, the beach is already getting really busy, so I don't want to be the guy that's in everyone's way. Yeah, it's nice, but I don't think there's a shot. I need to find a quieter corner. This looks more promising. It's a quieter end of the beach. We've got a beautiful sky to the north, and we've got all of this nice, interesting foreground that I've got to now, can't talk, got to now compose into a shot. Ooh, I like this. It's kind of a bit chaotic, but you know, maybe we can make it work. Yeah, maybe. Oh, come on. Right, let's break out. Let's break her out and have a look.
So I'm just setting up my camera here for the first image of this morning, and you can see what I'm attracted to is that glorious pastel pink sky and those reflections in the water. My composition's fairly simple, and I'm just setting up, trying to compose these curvaceous tidal pools that reflect the colours in the sky. And then it's a case of waiting for the people to clear. Admittedly, I probably should have shot this guy in the red jacket, but you know, well, maybe next time. So with regards to focus, you'll see in a minute there's actually rocks in the middle of my images, in the middle of the water, and that's where I focused. And as soon as this lady passes, I step back and take my shot.
Okay, so we're just going to wait for this lady to pass, and then we're going to go for an exposure. F11, half a second. I think we're good. Oh, beautiful.
So sticking with the same tidal pool, I take a few steps to my left and try and compose a very similar image. Now, for my meter reading, I take a spot meter reading from the brightest part of the image. I'm just going to double check that that is in fact in my frame, which it is. And then that gives me middle grey, but of course that would make everything dark, so I add 2.5 stops of light. Again, now it's just a case of waiting for the coast to be clear. So letting people walk by and then taking a shot at the optimum time, and always making a note to myself about the exposure settings.
So that last shot was 1/4 of a second at f16.
So I'm much happier with this image versus the last one. I think this one captures the colour much better. I have more colours reflected in the tidal pool. It has a cleaner, more balanced feel. It's better composed. And all in all, it has more of that sort of vibe, that look that I go for nowadays with my photography. Now, it does have a slight pinky magenta cast, but a lot of that was to do with the reflected light coming from the sunrise, and I just think the film Portra 160 really enhances that. So I could have corrected for the magenta cast with a curves layer in Photoshop, but I just didn't want to. I like the tonality, I like the soft pink colours. The morning, as you can see from the video, was super pink and really nice, and I did play with the colours, but all in all, I just kept them as original because I just think it works really well with the light tone of the sand and the beautifully pink sky. But of course, let me know your opinions down below. Always love to hear what you guys think about the images. So I stick with the same tidal pool for my next image, but point my camera up the beach rather than out to sea because it's catching all of this beautiful reflected light from the sunrise that's happening behind me. But you can see more and more people are starting to show up, and by this point it's not possible for me to simply wait for everybody to leave the frame. I have to include them, but I have to say that is not a bad thing, and it adds so much to the image that I'm now taking.
First shot of the third scene, half a second f16.
So surprisingly, I'm actually really happy with this image. The film rendered the colours and the tones beautifully. But what I love, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but what I love are the people in my shot. If you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you'll know that I don't like man-made objects or people in my images, and I actively try and avoid that. But by embracing it instead, I think I've captured the essence of this beautiful beach. And my favourite part, well, I think it's a lady in a red jacket, which looks superb. But if you look to the right of her, you can see that people are getting ready to go for a swim. And let me tell you, on this particular morning, it was freezing, well below zero, and bitterly cold. They are certainly braver than I am. So I hope you've enjoyed this different style of video. I'm sorry guys, I can't talk to my camera in public. You know, I've been doing this YouTube channel for many years now, and it's something that I've never ever been able to get over. So instead I sit here in my office narrating as the timeline plays on. But I do hope you've enjoyed it. I do have a photography book available if anyone's interested. I will link to that below. And finally, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, which is Squarespace. If you don't know who Squarespace are, they're an all-in-one website building platform. So if you're a photographer and you want yourself a nice looking professional website with a gallery, online store and all that sort of stuff, go to squarespace.com/Heaton and give it a free trial. They've got 24-hour customer service, and it really is a very easy process to do. You don't need any skills or experience, just a couple of helpful YouTube videos and you'll be away in no time. But if you like your free trial, you can get a further 10% off your first purchase by using the offer code Heaton. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave your comments below, as I appreciate everybody's opinion on all of the images seen today. Bye bye.